And we're back. Now, if we didn't actually cut that, it's just going to be a moment of silence for our phone.
It's just a really weird moment of silence.
We're trying to be
So,
better with our podcast portion.
right. Yeah, we're
Podcastery.
just,
Because
we've
otherwise
only
people
done
get
it
fat.
once. We've only done that break thing once. We've got to get used to it.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
but anyway, I just wanted to throw out first like real first impressions of Star Wars, and I really wish Chris had been able to be here with us tonight because he and I have been playing it a lot. I've been playing it far too much. It has very very sharp MMO talons and has clutched me out of my nest and taken me home to feed its babies. Um, So, so I've spent time on both the Republic side and the Empire side, and I'm playing on the Republic side. I'm playing a Jedi Knight and a Smuggler, and on the Empire side, I'm playing a Sith Inquisitor and a Bounty Hunter. Now, for any of you who are not extremely familiar with Star Wars, Obi-Wan would be like a Jedi Knight. Darth Vader would be like a Sith warrior, whereas Emperor Palpatine would be like a Sith Inquisitor, more of the Force magic and lightning and shit. That's what I'm that's what I'm playing. And I made Darth Sluggus, and he is big and fat, and he's amazing. He moves way too fast for his size.
His name is
But-
Darth Sluggus, and he's in Slug Worm
Space
Slug.
yes.
Space
That is
Slug.
an absolute coincidence.
Yeah.
Complete coincidence.
Yeah.
I originally, like when I was playing the beta, I made a big fat Sith who had like red skin and like a pox-marked face and was really ugly and stuff. And I named him Vladimir Harkonnen. For any of you Dune fans out there,
You always come up with some really great names.
and it was awesome. But then when I tried to do it in the game, somebody had already taken the name. I was very upset. So I made Sluggus.
Sluggus.
But anyway, all the classes so far have been really fun. I can already point out which classes are going to get nerfed because they're way too powerful.
Nerf herded.
Nerf herded, yeah, right. I guess that would be the Star Wars equivalent.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Chris and I have been playing with our buddy Prophet in Texas and a couple of my friends here in Portland. We've already made guilds and they're fun. We've just been checking out all the. I've gone through all the starting worlds, and I got a chance to do my first space battle last night because you get a ship when you hit around
Whoa.
like level 16, 17.
Really?
You get your own personal spaceship, which is pretty badass. And then you have this, you have the opportunity to do these arcade style, like kind of rail shooter, X-wing versus TIE fighter type of missions. Where like
What?
the one I did is you had to escort a shuttle, and I was playing my Sith character. You had to escort a shuttle while Republic fighter jets were coming in, and you fly around and shoot them, and like these big ships would come, like huge battleships would come in, and you could like get close and shoot the guns off of the big ships.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. For an MMO to have that kind of cool add-in, oh, that was really cool. So
cool.
I'm looking forward to doing more of those. But also, I've probably mentioned it before, BioWare has done an outstanding job at, like they always do, at making the storyline really engaging by having fully voiced, full cutscenes with dialogue options, just like Mass Effect and Dragon Age and and Knights of the Old Republic.
Mm-hmm.
It's that what, that's it. If you played Knights of the Old Republic and enjoyed it, then Star Wars The Old Republic is that game with better graphics, more options for character customization as far as class and stuff, class and race, and it's online. That's it. Like that's the big difference, and they're all pluses. So yeah, it's been really fun. I'm really looking forward to spending more time with it. And I'll give brief updates with Chris as we go along. I will try to make them brief.
I
It's
mean,
not.
I'm hearing really good things about it, like
Yeah,
really, really great things about it.
it's really solid. They made a lot of, and let's. I want to throw this out there because I've made the comparison, a justifiable comparison, but a lot of other people do as well, saying that it's Star Wars, it's World of Star Wars Craft, and yeah, it's WoW with lightsabers. I've heard that comparison as well, and it is, but it's not. It's got a lot of the same gameplay elements. The interface is almost exactly the same. A lot of it is exactly the same, but it is way beyond anything Blizzard has done with their storytelling.
I was just about to say that.
I mean, it's just you cannot even come close to comparing it. Not even close. So making the statement that it's WoW with lightsabers is incorrect. I want everybody to know that is incorrect and unfair because it's better.
Yeah.
In your face, motherfuckers.
And the thing is that from what I've heard is that the difference between like WoW and how BioWare has sort of crafted this game is that like you have like your character in WoW, and your character in WoW is like, you pick your race and you pick your class, and that's about as much depth you get into it.
Okay.
You get from it, but with the it's kind of like with BioWare, how like you create the character, and then you're like embodying this character because you have your conversation wheel, because like you're going through you're going through this like life event and this journey. I think is the way they tried to. Was that the word journey?
The thing is, the character itself is no different than something in WoW. It's the difference, and I think this is what you're driving at is that there's actually a story in Star Wars, a story that your character takes part in. Whereas in WoW, it's just here's a bunch of quests, and yeah, there's a story, but it's all text, which doesn't engage the player. When such a robust story, and World of Warcraft has a very robust storyline, but it's all text, all of it, except for like 3 cutscenes in the entire 1 to 85 experience. And I'm generalizing, but it's something like that. It's all text, and there's you get to a point where I tried to read the text and be like, oh, I'm involved in this story, but then you just get to a point where it's like, whatever, like objectives.
Yeah. I think that's what I kind of liked about Final Fantasy XI, not to like bring it back to old school. It's the fact that like, what?
Okay, Final Fantasy XI was cool because it had cutscenes, but they're almost all terrible.
What was that?
I said Final Fantasy XI was cool because it had cutscenes, but they were almost all terrible.
Yeah, yes, like of
And they're
course.
just
I mean, we're comparing
Hands off.
like apples to oranges, or we're also comparing like DOS to like Windows Vista. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I would vote DOS.
you
Dude,
vote
fucking DOS, MS DOS.
So that means that you prefer Final Fantasy XI.
Uh,
Yeah, but like it's kind of like what I really liked about the Final Fantasy XI experience is that like you walk into your town, and it's like you are the adventurer, and you are swept up in this this story, and so you kind of personalize your character a little bit more, and I feel like that's what I was missing when I played WoW. I miss like the like being a part of like this like grand scheme of things. And yes, there were cutscenes and things like that, but
that's the thing, is all that was there, it's just in text form, which is not engaging.
I
All the
personally
story was there. You are the hero. You're the focus. I mean, I played 1 to 85. I did all that stuff. You are the hero. You're a part of you're a part of the whole grand scheme of things. You're a part of all this. It's just that it's all fucking text, and if you don't read it, you don't give a shit, and you don't feel that way.
But there was something missing from it for me personally. For me, there was something missing from like the experience of like being a part of the world, which I'm pretty sure that if I played Star Wars Old Republic,
You love Star Wars.
like there was no denying that that I would be hooked immediately.
You would love the shit out of Star Wars, and you should get it. It works on Mac. You've got a MacBook. Make it happen.
It works on Mac, really?
Chris has it on his Mac. I mean, he's playing it on his PC. And I actually got Chris is stuck at work. I would like to make that clear right now. Chris is stuck at work, but he installed it on his Macintosh and he's playing it right now at work. He's at work, so he couldn't be a part of the podcast. But he's sitting in the queue. Actually, I should queue up mine right now. No, not during the podcast. It'll make me.
Wait, so you can get Star Wars on Mac then, because I feel like I looked it up and I saw Windows only.
Chris is playing it on his MacBook, so I know it's possible.
Maybe he has a DOS emulator, like same way I play Conquest in the New World.
Well, then it's obviously still possible. Just get a DOS emulator.
I have one, and I owe Chris a phone call, or a text or something, to find out how he's doing that. So that's cool.
Yeah, well, interesting.
So
Can we just break the law? Was that allowed? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Talk about what? Star Wars on the Mac?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
We talk about whatever we want.
Perfectly legal. I mean, like it's you just get an emulator and then you buy the game anyway. And
oh, okay.
Yeah, Chris bought the game.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, and I want to throw this out there because I like to say that a lot. I just want to throw this out there. This is our podcast. We don't work for other people. We can say whatever we want.
That's true.
Like I could come on here and encourage piracy and hacking and blah blah blah. And
I'm always so afraid that they'll hunt us down.
like BioWare.
Well, like a few weeks ago, I openly admitted to pirating the whole Skyrim soundtrack, and then I said I bought it, and then I, therefore covered my ass.
There's not a conference room full of EA executives listening to our podcast going, we should squash these guys.
If there were, I would
Wars
be so happy.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Actually, that was actually we actually I recorded a Q&A at the Star Wars launch.
Oh yes, you did.
Yes, and it's a really good Q&A. If people ever if you get a chance, I'll post a link right here. Right there, I'm pointing at it. That's where the link is going to be. So you can watch that Q&A. And I actually remembered that they said that I think it was actually Chris Wood from Empire State Gamer. He said that he asked if there was ever going to be like a direct to download type thing, so you can get it on Steam or direct to download, and maybe was it? I feel like the question was even compatible to Mac too.
I see.
That means perhaps in German, by the way.
Reindeer.
Well, on that note, as epic Gears of War designer Chris Blazinski said at the Videogame Awards this year, quite frankly, this is cutting into my Skyrim time. Actual quote. I did not make that up. He literally said that.
Awesome.
Very nice.
But before we go, I will leave you with this piece of news.
Whoa, you gonna leave us with the news?
We're going to be left with some news. Maybe we want to talk about it a little bit, but maybe we'll just contemplate for next time.
Okay.
It is rumored. It is not confirmed.
For the big 100th episode.
It is not confirmed, but it is rumored that Retro Studios, who made that Metroid Prime series I love so much, is working on a new project. And they haven't said what it was, but it's been kind of a little bit leaked that it might be the next Zelda game for the Wii U, which would be the first time the Zelda franchise has ever been developed by an American studio.
Oh my god.
Oh.
So that could be really interesting because those guys like to take, and they're trusted with Nintendo IP at this point, after doing Metroid and then doing Donkey Kong Country Returns and a little bit of Mario Kart 7. So Nintendo's come to trust them, and one of the biggest complaints.
Zelda.
Yeah, one of the biggest complaints. Well, like everyone loves Zelda, but like everyone always says about Zelda, well, it's the same game over again. Like even though it's like a little bit different every time, but like it's essentially the same game. And I just remember what they did for Metroid, where they took it and they made it a first-person shooter, which was audacious, at the time when it's like, oh, this is going to be horrible, and then they came out with Metroid Prime, and it wasn't. So
yeah, it was awesome. It was amazing.
So this is cool stuff, and quite frankly, Nintendo needs it for the Wii U coming out.
They do.
They need some strong launch titles, and as we all know with Nintendo, like their strongest games are their own IP, their own intellectual property, the Zeldas, the Metroids, the Marios, and all that. So it's not confirmed, but it's very strongly rumored, and I believe it might have even been directly stated by accident.
Wow, that's
by
very
Nintendo top brass. So
that's some news, Jeremy. Well done.
There we go. I did some digging this week.
I just remembered something. I am still working on trying to get to CES, but apparently, rumor has it that there's going to be a hands-on, like a chance to hands-on, like try the Wii U. And I really want to go to CES now because I really want to try this. I really want to touch the Wii U.
I want to touch it.
I want to touch it. I want it to be.
I really want to touch it.
Well, nice. That's cool. When is CES coming up?
That's January 8th. No, actually, it's 3 days. It's January. It's the whole week. I mean, from what, like the invites and the parties and stuff.
Yeah, CES
it's like a week. It's like a week of like tech nerddom.
Right. Yep. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap it up, Diana said it very, very briefly, but I'd like to draw more attention to it. As this is our 99th podcast, that means next time will be our 100th podcast. It will also be... It's very possible that it will be... I don't know. Probably be the last podcast of 2011. It might be the first podcast of 2012, but it'll probably be the last podcast of 2011.
Unbelievable.
It just depends on what happens.
Unbelievable that we planned podcast 100 on a new year. Unbelievable that we planned that well.
That's right. So
we totally did this on purpose.
Yep. We missed them on purpose. We did the special editions on purpose. We did all that so that this would happen. But anyway, that being said, we will not, since Christmas is on a Sunday, we will not be recording the podcast probably till that week. So look for it later in the week, kind of like what we did this week. Holidays are busy times, guys, so we're going to do our best. But either way, even if it doesn't happen next week, it's still awesome that it'll be the first one of 2012.
I know,
So,
yeah.
Either way, we totally win.
Can we have special guests come in and they just like saunter in and they're like, hey guys, I just thought I'd stop by. It's the 100th episode.
Like a holiday special or something where it's like, hey,
Yeah, like
I'm
the
this
Colbert
character that
Christmas
was on
special.
like one episode and I'm back for,
Yeah.
When are we gonna have the phone it in episode that old sitcoms used to have, where they'd be like, "Hey, remember that time?" and then they'd show a clip of an earlier episode. When do we get to do that?
When that becomes less work than actually making a new one. Which is kind of funny how times have changed because, that's phoning it in for all those old TV shows. For us, that would actually be more work.
That would be a lot more work, yeah. Yeah. It's a shame we don't have a whole bunch of interns to sit around and listen to old podcasts and pick the best parts.
Yeah.
But we are accepting applications.
Find us some interns. Was that, Jeremy?
I said we are accepting applications.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Can
College
you
credit.
listen to a podcast? You hired.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Chris has to do it because he's not here.
Yes. So this is punishment.
Sorry, buddy.
So I call no doozies on that.
No doozies. That sounds nasty.
Also, something that I'm going to be mysterious about, and no, I won't tell you what it is. I'm going to be mysterious about in the hopes that it will entice more people to listen to the next podcast. But I'll be getting something that I'm going to be doing a review on in the next week or two that is extraordinarily awesome, and yes, you want one. So it might be done by podcast 100, and then I'll talk about it on there before I post up the video review. But it's something awesome. And that's all I'm going to say.
And also, one of your favorite Game Reaction podcast characters will die.
Yeah.
Oh no!
1, 2, 3, not it.
Which one
Not
is
it, not it.
Well, Chris isn't here, so it has to be. He doesn't. I call no doozies on that as well.
I call shotgun.
There we go.
Wait.
Shotgun.
Anyway. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with Cat Butt.
Yeah, I'm just having a
If
hard
you're
time.
not watching the actual video podcast, that made no sense, but neither does much of the things that we say. So we're going to go ahead and pack it in for the holidays. What's up, Jeremy?
Pack it in.
Yeah,
Campers.
we're going to pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin.
Love me, burger.
Are we your little campers?
Yep. But I want, on behalf of all of us here, and for the one Chris Caravella that isn't here, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Superior Ramadan. I don't know, like what Happy Holidays to everybody.
Festivus, happy Festivus.
No, Festivus is generally a miserable experience. I'm just throwing that out. Everybody gets around a pole and complains. I mean, anyway. So until next time, this is your old buddy Alex.
This is Diana.
And Jeremy reminding you that if you have a podcast and you don't show up for it, you might be voted to die by default in episode 100.
So always come to the podcast.
Good lesson for all of us.